Hello and welcome to Healthy Living. I'm Dr. Donald Pelto, and today we're going to interview Dr. David Zuckerman here. He is kind of an entrepreneur, and he never knew that maybe, but he is, and he has a lot of great technologies he's been brought to the podiatry profession. Welcome, David.
Thank you very much, Don. I appreciate you inviting me. And, I didn't know who you were. If it wasn't for Lori Duchesne, I would have never met you.
So let's get right into it. We're going to talk a little bit about, podiatrist as an entrepreneur. Tell me your experience as an entrepreneur. You were in practice for 30 years, and during that whole time, you were an entrepreneur. How did you get interested in bringing things to the profession?
As I told you before, it started with ESWT. And it started because I had a complication with plantar fasciotomies. Mm-hmm. And I was always looking, there has to be something better. And that's how the ESWT started with me. And I wanted podiatry. As I told you earlier, I was doing over 100 cases a year from all over the country. All over the country. And I knew I had a great business. I eventually turned it into a mobile unit where I could have kept it in my office, but I wanted it to be mobile or ambulatory where the doctor would have the opportunity. I mean, today I've trained over 600 orthopedic and podiatrists. Maybe I don't even keep count. Yeah. I'll tell you when I knew I had a business. And is that on 9/11, I'm coming into my office working, and we had a mobile company, and I won't take too much, but it just popped into my head. And a woman is on the phone screaming at me. The New Jersey Turnpike is shut down. We don't know if we're under attack. And she's screaming at me, and she says to me, how come you're not here? And I said, what are you talking? And we still do it today. We charge $2,500. This was not insurance, which we could talk about. This was $2,500 for 1 foot and $35 for 2. And I said, New Jersey Turnpike is shut down. And that's when and my staff was a little nervous. And I said, we have a business on the worst day of the history of the United States. People are begging for my service.
Yeah, because you provided value, a value that no one else can provide.
And that's so important. If you got to find a product, I need to find products that are valuable. First, it's the patient. I don't look at the doctor. I look what the patient wants and needs, and then the doctor's next.
Yeah. So, and that sounds like it gives you a lot of a pride of being able to provide something of value to your patients, but also the profession.
Absolutely. It gives me great pride. Am I looking for awards and accolades? Here's what I've learned. If you keep wanting that, you're never going to get it. Just be yourself, do what's right, do what's ethical, do what's best. If I made mistakes, yeah, I can laugh at myself too. Yeah, you're gonna lose. I was talking to a chiropractor today that wants to get involved in laser business. He's a genius when it comes. He's a genius, a clinician. And I'm saying we've been talking about this for 3 months. Get started. I have no financial involvement when I introduced him to somebody else because I don't. That's what I just did, and he hasn't gotten started. All I can say is get started. Are you gonna make mistakes? You better believe it.
You know, David, that goes right into one of the questions I had, and it might even just be the answer. Why aren't more podiatrists more successful? And you can call success whatever you want, but is it that lack of action that they're not taking on new technologies and new ideas?
I think whatever you do, you got to take action now. And I'll tell you one thing I've learned. I mean, I'm 66 years old. I did practice podiatry for close to 40 years. Mm-hmm. And I only you got to look at negative things and how they turn positive. I'm blind in my right eye. I lost vision in my right eye, and that put me out of podiatry. That was the end. I could have sat there and cried, but I'd still be sitting in that room 8 hours a day and wondering how to figure things out because I loved my patients. I loved what I was doing, but it pushed me into another direction that I'm thankful for to this day. And, success, you got to listen. How do you know if you're doing something right or wrong? And I'll tell you something I've been doing in the last year is it's a gut feeling. Listen to that little man inside of you. You know when it's not the right thing to do. You really do know it, but trust yourself. Are you going to make mistakes? Sure. But sometimes mistakes lead you into a direction that is really what you were looking for.
Yeah.
Life is short. Play it. My father used to say to me, my father was 97 years old when he passed away. He was a podiatrist. And he lived an amazing, I'll tell you, he knew he was a lot smarter than I realized, a lot smarter than I realized. I mean, you know, we could talk about, you got to put your priorities in the proper thing and what's important to you. I can tell you what it is right now, my health.
Yeah.
Most important thing, my health and time with my family, my friends and people. Everything else, it'll come.
Mm-hmm.
It'll come.
I think that having that balance is really important in the profession. And I think a lot of times we learn in school and then in residency. And then one of the challenges is maybe, do you think people continue to try to improve themselves after residency, or do they just stay stuck with what they've learned there?
Oh, well, that could be one of the problems that people have. You know, I mean, when I was first in practice, I did my residency. If I found something that somebody could teach me, I would travel to their office. You can't do that today. You can't do that today, but we now have Zoom. We have the social media. You can connect so much easier and so much better. I'll never forget one example. I had a doctor, I looked at him and we're talking, and he made cellos, podiatry. He made cellos and he made humidors by hand. So I said, darn, I got to go visit him. And because can you imagine what his hands are like, or something he could teach me? He was the worst podiatrist I ever saw in my life. But I went there, but I learned something. I mean, you learn things. Sometimes you got to learn what you don't want as opposed to what you do. But get a close-up look at it. Take a look at it and see if it's what's best for you.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's talk about some of the new technologies that you popularized in the profession. I think you talked about ESWT, some laser work, and the latest thing is the Onyfix. Those are the three, and the Remi laser and the Onyfix.
Right. And I have another one, the Matrix burr.
Let's tell people.
I'll tell you about the Matrix burr. I brought what was called the clear nail. It's a micro drill that puts little holes in the nail so that the topicals can penetrate deeper, and like a holding tank. I fell in love with the technology called micro drilling. However, I lost so much money on this, but don't quit. There's reasons. The clear nail. I mean, I didn't listen to my gut feeling. My friends talked me into this. I wasn't able to control the service. It was a disaster. Then I went to the path former. And the reason I'm telling this is I kept looking because I felt the technology was important and it was evidence-based. Mm-hmm. I got very close with Dr. Gupta, who's one of the foremost doctors in publishing onychomycosis. So you get to meet different people and you can learn from different people. But this is a great story. At 9/11, I'm talking to a friend of mine, Bruce Levinson, and we're working on N95 masks on a 3D printer. I'm helping him out, and he says to me, you got to help me. I got to just get the message out. So I used my 11,000 email, and we just put it out. So I'm talking about the burr. Bruce is an expert in podiatry and burrs and instrumentation. So I said, Bruce, they're all see all these expensive $15,000 drills where they had special technology where it would stop before it hit the nail bed. But I learned one thing: they all go 1 millimeter, so it doesn't matter. But podiatry they get nervous. So Bruce made a sleeve. I got to show you this. Hold on. Okay, he made a special sleeve for it, and where it can only go 1 millimeter. So we did it on a 3D printer. But if we weren't working on N95 masks, I didn't know what a 3D printer is. I do now. And I mean, this will be good for podiatry because it's $6 a burr. They can throw it away. They can put in any drill they want. And am I going to make money on it? No, I don't want to. I gave it to Bruce. He's the manufacturer because it improves podiatry and it will come back to you. Mm-hmm. And now we're combining it with the Remi laser. So it's improving fungus toenail outcomes even more. You just keep moving forward and learn and the key is, there was a saying that I hope I can quote it right by Winston. I don't like to give sayings and quote books, and I don't like that at all. But a lot of people do. But Winston Churchill said, how do you define success? Having enthusiasm still between failure.
Mm-hmm. That's what it sounds like. You've had some failures and you learn from it.
You learn from it. I mean, you learn from it, and you learn. That's what life is. It's a journey. It's a journey of learning. I mean, I just hope I don't get bored with what I'm doing. I've been home since the COVID. I haven't gone anywhere. I walk. I'm exercising and everything. But I mean, I always wanted a dream. Like my business right now can be done anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. on a cell phone, a laptop, and I've done it. I was living in New York for 4 months, and I did it. There is one thing that's very strange, and I thank God and I'm grateful, is the COVID. I've been more busy through the COVID than my 15 years.
Wow.
And I don't know why. I'm not complaining about it. I'm grateful for it. You got to be grateful for things. Don't why you just be grateful. And I find I'm more successful when I try to help the other person than myself. And that's something that's very, very important. If any advice I can give, and I've tested it, when you think about yourself, you're going to fail. When you think about the other person, you're going to be successful. And just, I mean, if you can just learn that one thing, you know, you'll feel a lot better. It's all about feeling good. It's not about money. It's not, I mean, you do need money. Don't trust me. You need money in this world. And it's important to have money. Maybe. I'm not so sure about that anymore. People say to me, hey, look at that guy. You know, like you look at a president or somebody or a very well-known person. How do you know he didn't have this little itch behind his neck that was driving him crazy? How do you know? Don't compare yourself to the other person. My mother-in-law used to say to me, keep your eyes on your own paper.
Yep. I think comparison is the thief of all joy when we compare.
I love that.
You know,
I love that.
Just the best thing is to compete with yourself. See where you're at and try to improve it.
Absolutely. It's these things are not so easy to do. It's not like it's going to happen overnight. It'll happen. Trust me. All of a sudden, you're going to get it. You're going to get it, or you'll get it more. It's not, well, you read a book and you read it 50 times. Keep learning. Like I said, you can learn. I used to have one of my mentors say, he used to say one important thing to me. I always remember where it's important. He'd say to me, it's better to do the wrong thing than nothing at all.
So take action.
Play the game. Take action. It always comes up every time I'm talking to all the leaders out there in practice management. The bottom line is now. Take action now.
Yeah.
It seems to be and I agree with it.
Cool. Let's talk about the laser that you've developed. You showed me it before. It seems super small. So tell me about that. A lot of us don't know about that Remi laser. Well,
the Remi laser is named after my Yorkshire Terrier, who's 4 pounds, and the Remi's the Remi's around 4 pounds. I helped develop lasers that were portable, mobile, and the Remi, it's a 30. I don't know how much you know about lasers, but it's a 30-watt laser. And it's dual wave. I can make any wavelength you want in it, but the dual wave is the best one, and there's a lot of reasons why that. But it's multifunction. And what's important, most of the lasers today are one thing. If I was selling just a fungus toenail laser, I don't know if I would do it because it's only one thing. I learned that in 1984 when I had a CO2 laser. It cost me $36,000, and it only did one thing: warts. I'm not saying it wasn't bad, but I learned that's only one stream of revenue.
That's a lot of money for to kill a wart too.
Yeah, I know. But I also learned, it's, as Oscar Schindler would say, it's all in the presentation. I've talked to doctors that have, I'm not a gadget. Maybe I was a gadget person at one time. I mean, I had a fluoroscope in the early 80s in my office. But that being said, is that, laser is a very special word, and you got to be careful with it. You don't want to use it negatively. You shouldn't say that a laser corrects as a bunion or it does this. You got to be truthful. Patients aren't stupid. And, so that's the Remi. And I got to tell you one thing that's really, I never loved fungus toenails with lasers. It's a complete program, and I just think it's a very difficult program, but I'm getting more feedback. I always ask a doctor when he has a laser, that's great. This laser is great for fungus. And I say to them one thing. So how many referrals you getting?
Because of the fungus treatment.
I don't know. I don't know. I said, well, that's how you know if you're on the right track, is patients are talking to other patients that are coming in. And the Remi, more doctors are asking me for fungus. I love pain, inflammation, because I've learned a protocol where it's pretty simple, where you can get rid of the pain immediately. They walk in and walk out pain-free. You need more treatments, but they're getting the effect of it immediately. With fungus, it takes months before you see the results. But with the Remi and the microburr, my feeling is getting a little bit better. I have at least a dozen doctors out there that are saying to me they love it. And that's all they use it for. But I always ask them, are you getting referrals? Because anybody can spend, a lot of money and bring in patients and you never see them again. But, you don't want to do that. You got to look yourself in the face. Is this a procedure that's helping my patients?
Yeah.
And that's with the Remi, just in the last, and I know the Remi is a great laser. I can tell you why. I just sold my 4th laser to a practice. I sold a 3rd one to another practice and 2 last week. This is all within the last 8 weeks. But I've looked at practice management people, and they'll say, one on Shark Tank. I can't remember. Casey, I'll turn on Shark Tank, and he said something interesting. I forget which one it was. You got to work 7 days a week, and you got to work hard. Everybody says work smart. It's also hard. You got to be committed to that goal. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to come to you. You got to go out there and make your mark out there. But it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Wow. I know a lot of us use lasers, and we've been, how do you say it? Not really impressed with the laser. They work with some toenails, not others, and things like that. And so having something that does everything, if people want to learn about Remi, do they just go to your website, or where do they learn about the Remi laser?
Well, they can go, it's remilaser.com.
Okay.
They can always text me on my cell phone, 856-229-2939. But it's right on, I have a website. And I got to tell you one thing it's important about, it's not just the Remi, because I have a philosophy. It's got to be effective with all the products, Onyfix, all of them. It's got to be effective, affordable to the patient, a quick return on investment. And I've added, each time I keep adding things. One is you have to have great marketing. I work with Sarah Brynmeyer, who's somebody she's an amazing woman, strictly podiatry. And you have to have some practice management. It has to be everything with it. You have to be able to help the person. Some people can't quote sell. To me, selling is not the right word. To me, it's teaching. Doctors, if you look up the word doctor, it means you're a teacher. So you got to take the time and the effort and learn how to teach, which isn't so easy.
Yeah. I think we're always so rushed sometimes, right?
That's true. That's really, really true. I love the way they're talking about today. Get out of insurance. I want a cash practice. It's not so easy to do that. But if I had any advice to somebody, I would make that decision and don't look back. Don't go back. Either do it. Just do it and see what happens. Because if you're not committed to yourself, you'll sabotage yourself.
Great words. And as we're finishing up here, let's talk about this new technology, this Onyfix.
Onyfix meets my criteria in that, it goes back to this. Podiatry only treats about 62% of all nail pathology. 62%. If you could get it to 65, 66%, look what that would do for our profession. And I always say that, and I've said this with ESWT, I say this with Onyfix. Did it ever occur to you that maybe why we only have 62%? And that's the closest procedure that we dominate. We don't dominate plantar fasciitis. We only see about 9% with plantar fasciitis, according to Barry Block. My point is, maybe they don't like our treatments. Maybe somebody doesn't want to get a needle. Somebody doesn't want the podiatrist digging it out. They don't want surgery. So it gives you another option. I've always said that why doesn't the person that does bathroom toe surgery not come to you? Maybe they don't want to get a needle. Maybe we don't know, but we need to give them options. And I truly believe when I see, 62% isn't bad, but what is a tooth getting filled? No, it's 100% by a dentist. Podiatry, we share, we need to get procedures that differentiate us, that are effective. And the first thing we want to look at is the patient. What does that patient want? I'm not saying just give in to them, or you got to use sound medical judgment, but the Onyfix clicked in my brain. It's no needles, no pain. It is evidence-based, and it's time tested. Not only do they have evidence, but it's been out there for years. When I was in ESWT, I didn't invent it. They were doing it in Europe for, it's like Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb. He perfected it. And all these procedures have been done around the world. again, my goal is right now it's to give podiatry things and that they can take a look at it and make the judgment for themselves. I think Onyfix is going to be a great product. I've already invested a lot of money into it. I mean, most people would quit. It's being very slow. I give out the product a lot to people just to let them try it. I want them to try it. In fact, every Remi laser I sell, I give the product out to the doctor. But you have to have good support. Bree Wright is an amazing teacher. You can text her and she'll get back to you right away.
Yeah. Yeah. She's the one that trained me.
You need that. You need that. That's what I'll do. I've had 3 questions this morning where I answered the podiatrist on on questions about the Remi, the Onyfix, the microburr. I just hope I don't get overwhelmed with it. But if I do, I'll figure something else out. That's where you maybe have a mastermind program.
Yeah.
There you go. You're talking something.
Yeah. Well, great, David. I think we covered a lot of stuff. On the bottom of this video, I'm going to put links to the shockwave, the micro drill, the Remi laser, and the Onyfix. And really, I think what you said that was most effective is for us that are doctors. I think we a lot of times we want everything to be, we're totally comfortable. The way we got totally comfortable with surgery was doing it, practicing it under someone else. And these new technologies, you can't get comfortable. You have to try it. Yep. And as long as it's not going to harm the patient, I think it's something that you could try and see how it goes and develop your own protocol.
And I agree with, but the last thing is you got to practice. I mean, I learned minimal incision surgery. I was in my basement with bones in a vise. I went down in my basement. You don't in life, you attack it. You just don't, attack it. I'm not saying go start on a patient. I actually teach minimal incision surgery, or I teach doctors how do you, every mycotic toenail you have that you burr down, you pretend you're rubbing bone down. You gotta go to people that have experience, but you don't jump right into a patient.
Yeah.
You can do little things. I've taught little things. Pretend you're operating on a piece of bone with a burr by smoothing down a mycotic nail. Same thing.
Cool. Well, thanks, David. And what's you said your phone number before. Is there a website where they can get more information about you, about what you do?
Actually, yeah. In my website, my main website is ZuckermanFT.com, Zuckerman Future Technologies.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What else you want to say?
I don't want to say off camera. I want to tell you something where I came up with the name.
Okay, we're going to end this now, and information will be at the bottom of the video. Thank you, guys. Hey, guys, thank you for watching Healthy Living. You're going to find a few links here I'd like you to click. One is to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Also, you can learn more. There are some videos here you can see.